Money in the Bank is that PLE that offers an opportunity to superstars to make their entire career. With one climb of the ladder, you have the opportunity to become the face of the WWE. Not a single other pay-per-view except for Royal Rumble has the implications of a Money in the Bank. And today, we're going to be doing our predictions on the 2024 Money in the Bank card. Now, before we get into the predictions, if you guys enjoy professional wrestling content, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you guys end up liking this video, and make sure you comment at the end what your predictions are if you have any of them that are way different than mine. And lastly, if you want to enjoy future videos of mine, turn on that bell so you don't miss any future videos. With that being said, let's roll these predictions. So last PLE, we opened up with Cody Rhodes against AJ Styles, and I think they're going to start rotating the championship matches, and I believe the World Heavyweight Championship match is going to be the match that starts off our evening. With that being said, it is Damian Priest against Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. There is no specific stipulation in this match, but if Damian Priest wins this match, Seth Rollins will not be allowed to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship as long as Damian Priest is champion. But if Seth Rollins wins, Damian Priest must leave the Judgment Day. This match has massive implications. We're talking about a perennial champion, someone like Seth Rollins, who we have almost always seen as a champion outside of the small period that for whatever reason Vince McMahon no longer trusts him when he tore his ACL against Kane in a house show. But Seth Rollins is almost always either competing for a #1 contender match, either competing for the championship, or is our champion. Damian Priest, on the other hand, has finally reached the tippy top of the mountain and is the World Heavyweight Champion, and arguably right now is the leader of the Judgment Day while Rhea Ripley is missing. Now, I'm going to try to not be biased on this because these two are two of my favorite superstars on the roster. As you guys know, I literally went to the Puerto Rican Day Parade to support my guy Damian Priest, even though I do go every year with my best friends. But I wanted to go so I can show some love to Damian Priest and see him in the Puerto Rican Day Parade. And as many of you guys know, Seth Rollins is literally my favorite superstar on the entire roster. So this is a tough one for me to pick, and I'm going to be completely non-biased on this. I think to solidify Damian Priest as the World Heavyweight Champion and bring pure notoriety and legitimacy to this title reign, Damian Priest has to beat Seth Rollins. I don't think it's a question of should he, will he? He has to beat Seth Rollins. So I'm going to be taking Damian Priest to beat Seth Rollins, but I do think the Judgment Day gets involved, and I do think that this is going to set up for the unraveling at SummerSlam of the Judgment Day, because as we see in the past couple of weeks, Damian Priest wants to win a championship match alone. He doesn't want anyone involved to prove that he is that guy. Being able to beat Seth Rollins by himself in a one-on-one match would literally mean that he is that guy. I don't think Judgment Day lets him do it. I think they get involved. I think Damian Priest ends up winning this match, and I think Damian is pissed at the end of the night. Next up, we have one of what I consider the main events of the evening is the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I am so happy that we have a lot of new faces in the Money in the Bank this year, especially in the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I know we have last year's winner of Io Sky in the match. I do think she is in this to bring a little more legitimacy to the match, to be like, hey, whoever wins this ended up beating the woman that won it last year and ended up cashing in to be the champion. But in this year's match, we have Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Zoe Stark. Now, I'm a big fan of almost every single woman in this match. I think that every single woman in this match has earned their spot to be in this match. And I think it's great that Triple H has finally pulled the trigger on a lot of these women to get the spotlight. Because as we know, every woman and every man basically gets a spot in this ladder match. And I actually am going to give you a couple predictions on this match. I think Zoe Stark is going to have the biggest OMG moment of this match. I don't know what she's going to do, but I think that she is going to end up having the moment that is going to go viral from this match. I think Zoe Stark is one of the most underrated wrestlers in the WWE because in the WWE, you're mainly judged about how good you are on the microphone. And unfortunately, as much as I love Zoe, she is not the best on the microphone. But is she one of the best female wrestlers on the roster? It's no doubt. She is unbelievable when it comes to in-ring work. And I think that she gets a massive moment in this match. I also think it's great that people like Tiffany Stratton and Lyra Valkyria are in this in their first year of coming up to the main roster. I think it's great that they're going to get spotlight on a absolutely massive PLE. And I think it's also awesome that Chelsea Green is finally going to have her moment on potentially winning it all. So now to my prediction on who I think is going to win. I believe this is a 2-horse race. I think either Chelsea Green or Tiffany Stratton have to win this match. I personally believe that Tiffany Stratton is going to be the one that ends up climbing that ladder and winning this match, just because she is light years ahead of anyone else on the roster of who can be the next face of this company. I think she is unbelievable in the ring. I think she is unbelievable as a character. And I also believe there's a storyline for her to be played with the Money in the Bank. Now, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to answer this question. And I want to know from you guys if you think they're going to go with this route and telling a story. What specific storyline did we have where somebody was the champion and somebody held the Money in the Bank, but they were best friends? Not, I wouldn't say best friends, but they were friends. And there was always worry about the other person cashing in on them. I want you guys to comment that down below. I want to see who knows this. I'm not going to give away the answer, but I do think Tiffany Stratton wins this match because I am 99% certain that at SummerSlam, Nia Jax is going to beat Bayley for the women's championship. And I believe we're going to have a really cool storyline between Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton being friends, being, you know, the bodyguard of Tiffany Stratton is Nia Jax, as she is the women's champion, you know, protecting her case, and she ends up cashing in on her. And I think it's going to be a really cool moment when Tiffany Stratton becomes a champion. And I know you guys all want Chelsea Green to win. I just, as much as I love Chelsea Green, I do think it's time for us to take some opportunities with a lot of the younger women. And I think Tiffany Stratton is that person to take our chance with. Next up, we have another title match. We have Sami Zayn against Braun Breaker. Over the weeks, my love for Braun Breaker has only intensified. I love the dude. I'm a big fan of him. I think that he is one of the future faces of this company. That's for a future video, by the way, that I have coming out soon. I think Braun Breaker is unbelievable. I know a lot of people say that they're tired of the spear, ripped shirt thing. I'm not tired of it. He could do that for 5 more years, and I think I'll love it. I am getting a little bored of Sami Zayn's kind of like always the underdog character. And I do think that Braun Breaker has a lot of opportunities for storylines on the main roster with guys like Sheamus, guys like Ludwig Kaiser, guys like Ilya Dragunov, guys like Gunther, any guys that are coming up. I think Braun Breaker has a lot of potential storylines, and I think we all agree that Braun Breaker is the future world champion. Winning the Intercontinental title will mean that he is on the stepping stones to being that guy. Unfortunately, I do think Braun Breaker wins this match, but I don't think he ends up winning the Intercontinental Championship. I think either Sheamus or Ludwig Kaiser get involved in this match and end up causing this to be a DQ. And I think it sets us up for either a triple threat match or a fatal 4-way match at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental Championship, which is where I think Braun Breaker ends up winning it. But I do not think this match ends clean, and I do not think that either man walks out satisfied with how this match ends. And I don't think that Braun Breaker is going to be our Intercontinental Champion at the end of the night. Does it suck? Yes. Do I think that it's time for them to, use one of those, stupid endings? Unfortunately, I do. I know Triple H, for some reason, actually hasn't been the biggest fan of doing this, which I like that he hasn't been. I think we've been fed these stupid endings with Vince McMahon for so many years, but I do think we get one here. Now on to the co-main event of the evening, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, oh boy, if I have ever been excited for a men's Money in the Bank ladder match, it is this one. There is one ex-world champion in this match. One. Only one guy has been the world champion and is in this match. That means there's a potential opportunity for 5 different guys who have never held a world title to walk out Mr. Money in the Bank and have an opportunity to solidify themselves as a main event player by cashing in on a champion and becoming your champion. We have Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade El Idolo, Chad Gable, LA Knight, and Drew McIntyre. Can we talk about just how stacked this Money in the Bank ladder match is? Like, we're talking about someone as young as a Carmelo Hayes, who I also believe, like a Braun Breaker, is one of the future guys for the WWE, all the way to a guy like LA Knight, who is the megastar and one of the most over superstars on the entire roster, to Jey Uso, who has solidified himself as officially the most over superstar on the roster. I believe he has passed Cody Rhodes as the most over guy on the roster. You have guys like Andrade, you have guys like Chad Gable who have the wide six after them, and then you have Drew McIntyre, a former world champion who just wants revenge and wants to just walk out of Toronto as the champion. Now, the one interesting thing about this match is almost every single person in the match has a feud with someone that could potentially interfere in this match. And I think it would be nuts if we have like 4 or 5 different interferences during this match. Like, I see opportunity for so many viral moments to happen where I think we will lose our dang minds. Can you imagine either CM Punk or AJ Lee come and cause Drew McIntyre the match? Can you imagine Logan Paul and Tyrese Halliburton knocking out LA Knight, costing him the match? Can you imagine the Wyatt Six costing Chad Gable the match? Can you imagine the Bloodline before their main event coming and having Jey Uso lose this match? Can you imagine Legado comes and causes Andrade to lose this match? There's a lot of opportunity for a lot of different interferences and a lot of people getting screwed out of this match. The only person that doesn't really have a true rival in this match is Carmelo, as LA Knight's kind of been his only rival. And like, in theory, this is not what I think happens, but just imagine everyone gets interfered on, leaving Carmelo Hayes as the only guy left to climb that ladder and cash in, grab that briefcase. I think that would be absolutely insane. Now, I once again do believe this is a 2-horse race. As much as I want it to be a 3-horse race, because I would really love to see LA Knight holding that briefcase. He is one of my favorite superstars on the roster. I believe this is a 2-horse race. I believe this is a race between Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre. Now, let me explain why I think either one of those guys can win. I think Jey Uso could win because he is the most over superstar on the roster. He is very believable on becoming champion on either brand, but he also has potential storylines with any of these guys, and him holding the case could give him a potential storyline on cashing in on a Cody Rhodes, who he was a former tag team champion with, and someone who is currently feuding with his family. Now, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. I do think the Yeeter in the bank, or, you know, the Mr. Yeet in the bank, or Yeet in the bank, whatever they want to call it, would be absolutely amazing just because of how over he is. I do believe that Drew McIntyre holding it would be absolutely nuts. Now, it gives us opportunity to have a failed cash-in with Drew McIntyre holding it, but Triple H, I feel like, wants to have people that he can trust holding that briefcase. And we all know you can trust Drew McIntyre to be that guy. And if they really don't want to have a long Money in the Bank like we had with the past year, I think Drew McIntyre winning it and cashing it in on Damian Priest, or cashing it in on Cody Rhodes at the end of the night, for all we know, is very possible. Now, with the fact that I think that the Damian Priest and Seth Rollins match are happening at the start of the night, I don't know how Drew sets himself up to cash in and walk out World Heavyweight Champion, as he said he was going to do at the end of Monday Night Raw, which means I could have, obviously, the matches in the wrong slots, even though I really do think it opens up. But I also think that it gives us the possibility of seeing Drew McIntyre tease a cash in on Cody Rhodes. And there's no one else that I think Triple H trusts more in that situation than a Drew McIntyre. But my official prediction, I really wish I could say this was going to be Logan Paul or LA Knight. I think Jey Uso walks out as your Mr. Money in the Bank. I think they're going to sell a bajillion Yeet in the Banks, or, you know, the Yeeter in the Bank briefcases. And I think that this is an opportunity for them to really finally give Jey Uso either World Heavyweight Championship or WWE Championship. Which brings us up to what I think is going to be the main event of the evening. Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens against the Bloodline. Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu. This match, I think, is plain and simple, you know, as some people would say, predictable. I think that it's very obvious that they are building the Bloodline to be a massive force to be reckoned with. I think it's very obvious they are building the Bloodline to be someone you don't want to mess with. And I also think they're building the Bloodline for SummerSlam for us to have Solo Sikoa against Cody Rhodes. Now, with that being said, I'm just going to throw it out right away that I think the Bloodline is going to win, but I think there's a specific way they have to win. I think we have one of two options on how you end this match. Either Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu absolutely take out Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, and you have Solo Sikoa pin Cody Rhodes, to then that's what sets us up for SummerSlam of Cody Rhodes against Solo Sikoa. Or, and I think that this would be absolute cinema, is you have an opportunity where Jacob Fatu destroys Cody Rhodes, and instead of him pinning him, he walks over to the corner, tags in Solo Sikoa, and then has Solo Sikoa pin Cody Rhodes. And with that being said, Cody Rhodes comes out and says that you weren't able to do it, blah, blah, blah. It was all Jacob Fatu. You had to lean on your enforcer because you're not that guy. And, you know, basically gives him a title shot at SummerSlam. Many people want to see a return here. I do not think we get a Roman Reigns return here. I'm not sure if we get a Jimmy Uso return here. I doubt it. I think we get a clean 1-2-3 pin by Solo Sikoa on Cody Rhodes in the middle of the ring on top of that Prime logo. Now, before everybody loses their cool and says you are out of your mind, I will once again like to remind you, they have spent hours upon hours of our time building up this Bloodline storyline. To have them lose to Cody Rhodes and these guys would diminish everything they have done to build these guys up as a scary force. And if we want to have a believable return for Roman Reigns to have to take down the Bloodline, right? Because I believe the idea is Roman Reigns has to come back to save the WWE from the Bloodline. These guys have to win, and they have to win convincingly, and they have to win a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple weeks from now we see the Bloodline holding the US title, we see the Bloodline holding the tag team titles, and we see the Bloodline holding the WWE Championship at the end of freaking SummerSlam at this point. With that being said, I want to know if you guys have any predictions on any of these matches that you think I was completely off on. If you guys think that there's someone that has to win the women's or men's Money in the Bank that you think I was off about. And if you guys think that Seth Rollins has to win the World Heavyweight Championship. So let me know all your predictions down in the comments below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, do me one small favor. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you turn on the bell for notifications. I'll obviously give you guys a review on Money in the Bank after we watch it. Probably get that out to you guys on Sunday or Monday. And I want to say I appreciate all you guys for all the love on the videos lately. It does mean the world to me. With that being said, I love you guys for making it to the end. Peace.